Well, hello. I'm having issues with Prism. It did show that I was live before, but nobody was coming on. So I decided to stop the stream until I got here to the park and start a new one. But for some reason, Prism wasn't logging to a network for some reason. So I had to go straight through YouTube. Which I think I've only done this maybe twice before, of going through YouTube. So when you come in, let me know your presence is here instead of watching me silently. So I'm going to turn this around. Behind me is a part of the college. It is a sorority house that is behind me. Let's turn this thing around if it allows. There we go. So anyway, let's see if I can turn this. If it'll allow me. Oh, it's getting mad. So I guess I have to stay like this. All right. Well, anyway, I guess I should have started it the other way. If the signal goes in and out, I'm sorry. But for some reason, that's how this city is. But anyway, there is the science building. So we're going to go on to the bike path and start walking. And if it's shaky, I'm sorry. I didn't break it, but my gimbal broke. And I'm back using the tripod that I first started using before the gimbal. And I use this when I'm at home making videos. And so this is what I'm stuck with until I get some money up to buy a new one off of TikTok Shop, because they're cheaper off of there than they are off of eBay where I bought that one. Hello Gojo, or hello Frozen Moose. I didn't know I was broadcasting on Facebook. That's pretty cool. But whatever works. But anyway, we're in Fairview Park walking. And look, this is one of the old streets of Decatur. There's a lot of big homes. Some people would call them mansions of the time. And hello, we'll just say at Mr. And yeah, so yeah, these are big houses over here. And in fact, that white one right there is for sale. We will go on the bike trail here. Go take a look at the what the hell? The new little thing they're building up here. I forgot the word of it. I am in the United States. I'm in the state of Illinois in the city of Decatur. It is about between 52 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is probably around 10 to 12 degrees Celsius. It is a very warm day today for the end of December, because normally we would have a lot of snow on the grounds. But because of global warming, as they want to say, we don't start getting snow until next month. In fact, they're calling for snow January 5th, which will probably get about an inch of snow. We usually get 2 big snowfalls a season. Anyway, you can see over there that what they're building. So we'll walk over there and take a look at it. They're not quite done. They started on it late because what they did was they were redoing the sewer area of this land. And when they got done with that, they started building all this stuff. But it was getting too late in the year. And of course, they're not done with it. So some of it's kind of a playground and some of it is like exercise equipment. And if this is a little shaky, I'm sorry, because my gimbal broke on me and I have to buy a new one off the TikTok shop when I get some money. Or if somebody wants to send me one, that's cool too. I should have started this in a horizon setting instead of vertical. And yeah, but there's a sign on the other side. We'll take a look at it and show you what it's supposed to look like when it's done. But as you can see, my guess is this part where you see it's green right there. It's probably going to be for multi kind of things, maybe kind of running back and forth to each little line that you see right there. And then they got something that they're going to put down right here. So my guess was it was going to be for like beanbag toss or horseshoes or something like that, but I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure. But we'll go over there in a few minutes and look at the plans. And of course, you see they got, this is probably the playground part of it. And then I think, and then kind of mixed in there will be some exercise stuff. But we'll walk around to the other side and look at the picture of what it looks like when they're done with it. I'm quite upset that my gimbal wouldn't work. And I have to be careful where I walk. So I'm wearing tennis shoes and I don't want to get mud all over my shoes. So we're gonna walk over here. And as you can see, there's no breeze whatsoever. I put a jacket on even though I really didn't need it. Yeah, I'm walking through some mud here. I should have walked around the other way. Oh well. This building here is their main pavilion. And back when this was, I don't know if when it was built, but I remember when I was a little kid in the winter time, and before we walk around to see that sign, I'll take you in here to show you what I mean. So you can see right here, this goes all the way around the outside of this pavilion. So what they would do is they would put walls right here, and then they would freeze this floor, and this is where you would ice skate during the winter time. Well, last summer they had decided to bring back roller skating. So for a couple of days during the weekend, they had people roller skate. Hello, Miss Ann Pinier Vlog. Welcome, everybody, welcome to my live stream. It's been a while since I've live streamed. I've been doing my sunrise videos, which I stopped for the year, and because I'm not at work. So I'm off until after January 1st, and then we'll see what happens after that. But I hope you enjoy those sunrise videos because I enjoy watching the sun come up. But what I have noticed is as time goes by, the days go by, it's getting later and later for it to rise up. So I think this morning it was like 7:14 or something. So as you can see right here, I think that's what this is, to do little races. People can race back and forth. And so yeah, this is all gonna be dedicated, not just for little kids to play on, but for people to exercise. So here is a picture of what it's going to look like when they are done. So I imagine they'll probably do the same thing over there where I was pointing before. There'll be little sprints people can do. And yeah, so it's a good thing for this city. Decatur used to be a very booming city, and back in the day, we used to get a lot of vaudeville famous people. A lot of presidents used to come here, and Decatur is like 2 to 3 hours south of Chicago, Illinois. So we are about 45 minutes away from our capital city, which is Springfield. So a lot of these people would stop off in Decatur to when they were heading either off to Chicago or they were going to our state capital. I'm going to turn my camera around here. So, hello everybody, how are you doing? But yeah, that's what all this is going to be, a big playground, and I'll be glad when they finally get it done. But as you can see, we have kind of wispy clouds, and haven't seen the sun and or blue sky for days because it's been cloudy and or raining, and they're calling for rain tomorrow. So I thought I'd come out today because I got tired of sitting in the house the whole time I've been off and doing nothing but either being online or playing PlayStation or whatever. So I decided to come out. So I'm going to turn this around and we can see some more stuff. And then in the summertime, they have baseball games here. And I hope this thing doesn't stop and start and stop and start, because it does that a lot in here. And I don't understand why, because there is a cell phone tower right there. But somebody told me that the closer you get to that cell phone tower, the more your signal will not work. But I don't know how true that is. This here is the bathroom. This side's the men's, the women's on the other side. They did have to cut down a lot of trees along here because they were getting old and dying. And they probably should get rid of that one there too, because, I mean, even though the leaves are off the trees right now, it's kind of nasty looking. This here is one of the original water fountains that was put in this park. It is not in commission, it's just there for remembrance purposes. But we'll walk up here to what they call Dreamland Lake. And you're gonna hear me say back in the day a lot, because that's when a lot of things happened in this town. Not too much goes on today. A lot of people are moving away. I don't know where they're going, but they're moving away. I'd like to move away too, but I can't afford to. But anyway, this pond, you have to be no older than 16 years old, I think it is, to fish here. I don't know if anybody keeps any of the fish that they catch. I'm not a fish eater, so if I caught anything, I would just throw it back in. A lot of the fish that are in that pond are too small. You got bluegill in there and some catfish and I don't know what else is in there, but of course that water fountain there is old, but I don't know how long that one's been there. I remember that one there when I was in school. But none of the water fountains work here. We don't need them anymore. In fact, I forgot my water. I did that last time when I went walking. I forgot my water and I was very thirsty. So, yeah, well, live and learn again, I guess. I'll get these cars out of the way and then I'll move over. But, you know, if it's a little shaky, I'm sorry. Like I said, my gimbal broke on me before I came out here. Anyway, this here is Dreamland Lake. You may have seen a video that I did with just music with the fountain going. But yeah, there's a lot of geese out here and ducks. More geese, but you know, the geese are probably off hibernating somewhere. But there's still a lot of geese poop out here. I wish they'd come out here periodically and spray this down. It's disgusting. But yeah, this is where I had set my camera when I took that video. Now that thing way down there, that is a replica of the transfer house that is downtown in Central Park. And the transfer house used to sit in the center of Main and Main Street. And it was the main hub back in the day to switch from bus to bus. And I think we did have kind of like those little rail cars or whatever you want to call them. And oh, there's a big, that must be this, I was going to say a big fish, but that's the ducks out there making that noise. But people come out here because it's generally pretty quiet and to watch the ducks. Normally right here, there is a bunch of tall shrubbery, if you want to use that word, to kind of decorate, but then it's kind of in the way and of sight. That building up there is a tennis house. So there's a mess load of tennis courts up there, and tennis used to be very popular here, and that's where you would go if they had a tournament here, was right there. Yes, it's very relaxing here. I've actually come here on a live stream one time, and a couple of my Filipino friends were sitting out here and enjoying the view and the day and so on and so forth. But I was talking about the geese, and they are all sitting up here on the hill. Now this part of town is what they call the West End, part of the West End. So my brother, he's like, well, that's south. I said, no, it's kind of southwest, but it's more west. Whack, 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 whack. I think he was going to come up here and try to attack me. I wasn't even bothering him. But as you can see, the duck house over there, which they built in the shape of the transfer house downtown. Now, I do have videos of that. You just have to go to my channel and search for them, because I did a lot of walking downtown, showing people the downtown of Decatur, Illinois, several times. I was going to go down there during Christmas time, but I just never made it. This little walking bridge right there, they built that several times, and finally they did it right. I think I would have at least stained that wood or put some kind of preservative on that wood, so it would last longer. Because eventually, even though that's pressure treated wood, it's still going to rot. And as you can see, there is neighborhoods butted up to the park. This park does go way down there, which we call the west end of the park. I'm not going to walk down there. There's really not much down there. There is a dog park down there, and the swimming pool used to be down there, but they took it out and put it over at another park. Well, actually, they built a water park. So everything's at the water park. But the water just goes about right there. And yeah, so if you're 16 years and younger and you want to fish, you can come in here and fish the pond. I imagine this is probably not very deep. My guess is about the middle of the pond is probably about waist high. Now, back in the day, they used to have a bridge that went across right here in the middle. And when it used to get very, very cold here in the winter time, and this water would freeze, and they used to skate on it. But we don't have those days anymore because of the planet constantly changing, and the temperatures are getting warmer in certain places. I remember back in the 1980s, they used to talk about global warming, where they would say, when that happens, where it's warm, it will be cold. Where it's cold, it will be warm. Well, so far in the Midwest, parts of it, we used to be very cold in the wintertime. And now we're warm. So they were kind of right, but we won't start really feeling cold weather until the next 3 months. It will get cold. Usually February is our coldest month, but lately it's not been as cold as it used to be. But this is a nice park. If you, there are a bunch of trails. So that bike trail does go up that way, and it goes around. In fact, there's a couple, might be some people biking, or they're walking maybe. But anyway, it goes up around this way, and then it goes around most of the west part of the park and back down. And then it takes off again back north and heads to the north part of Decatur. So, but there is some that go back into the west end of the housings over here. If you took all the trails, started way down here and took all the trails and come back, it's about 20 miles round trip. I think I do have some video of me filming riding those trails. But I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not in a spot where the film's gonna stop, but you could still hear me talk, and I hope it's not doing that. I'm not gonna walk through all this. I'll come over here to the street, even though they come clear out here and messed up the grounds. But I thought I would take a walk today since it's such a nice day and I haven't left my house much during this whole holiday season. I've been off work since I left work the 20th of December. And I will go until January 1st and then go back to work on the 2nd of January. And then next Friday is my birthday. So let's see, I gotta look at my screen here. Yes, it is a very nice place. It is relaxing. Where is that place, John? Well, this place is in Decatur, Illinois, in the United States. Illinois is about the middle of the country. If you've heard of Chicago, Illinois, I am about 2 to 3 hours south of Chicago, Illinois. A lot of people, when they hear Chicago, that's all they think of. Illinois is Chicago. Well, Chicago is just the largest city of Illinois. There is more to Illinois than Chicago, even though our governor likes to give Chicago more money than the rest of the state. Our roads are falling apart. Our infrastructure is falling apart. And hopefully soon that will change. Of course, the whole country's falling apart, but I won't get into that. United States is a land of opportunity, and we do welcome everybody that is from other countries, but we just want you to come here legally. Get online, get a visa, wait for it to be accepted. Once it's accepted, if you have your passport and money to fly here, then come. They'll check everything out. If it checks out right, you're in for whatever your visa says how long you're here for. And then you'll have to renew your visa when it's up to stay here, just like any other country. So, I can't just get in an airplane and fly to, say, the Philippines or to Thailand or any other country other than the United States without a visa. They're going to turn me around and say, you go home because you're not welcomed here. It doesn't matter if I want to say, well, I claim asylum, or I claim this, I claim that. Well, they're going to turn you around and say goodbye. And they might even ban you. They'll take your picture. They may even ban you from ever coming back again. So you screwed up by doing that. So the proper way to do it is get online or get a hold of a lawyer or a travel agency, whatever how much money you have, and they will fix it up for you. We welcome everybody. It's just you got to come here legally and come here for a purpose. Don't come here to harm anybody like some of them are doing, because you're gone. You're either going to get yourself killed, or you're going to be in prison, or you're going to go out the door. One day I will make it out of this country. I have been on an airplane, but I went to Texas one time, and I went to Vegas. When we flew to Vegas, I thought we was never going to get there. I think it took like 5 hours. I can imagine if I was flying to another country, how long it takes to get there. I'd be like, man, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So I'm going to sit down right here and turn my camera around. Hello, everybody. Sorry if this is shaky. And John, I will get down by some foods My phone standby on your live stream. Okay. I thought I'd sit down and kind of rest a little bit. I will be turning 57 next Friday. So I'm getting up there in years, and I'm trying to stay healthy, and I try to exercise, and I am starting to feel my age a bit. And hopefully one day soon I will be able to retire. Somebody in California won the $1.22 billion lottery. Must be nice, but I hear it takes you for a long time to even get your money in the first place, because it's got to go through so many channels. They recommend you get an accountant and a lawyer, and the IRS starts dipping their hands in it, and it's not very fair. The government doesn't need that money. If you quit printing up money that this country can't afford to pay back, then you don't need that money. Anyway, I'm going to turn this back around, and we are going to start heading back to my house. So I am not too far away. It will take at least a good half hour to walk back home. I just hope you're enjoying the ride and seeing a little bit of Decatur. If you keep going straight, you'll go down the road, El Laredo Street, and that will take you downtown. And actually, if you go through the school over here, that takes you down a road to some other nice big homes, old homes from the 1800s. And it also takes you downtown. So yeah, just walking east. So we're heading east right at the moment. And it all takes you downtown. Trying to get past all this mud. I'm gonna have to end up cleaning my shoes when I get home. But depending on your job profession, there are people hiring, but a lot of it, to be paid a lot of money, you have to have a good profession. Yeah, see, I got mud all over my shoes now. Let's see if I can get it off here. So if you're a nurse, you can come here, depending on what kind of nurse you are, and make about $53 an hour. You could clear close to $150,000 a year. If you are a biochemist, you can make a lot of money here. The highest paid state for nurses is California. And in that top 5 is the state of Washington and the state of Oregon. The District of Washington, D.C., and I think New Jersey has a good rate of nurses if you are a nurse. Now, the highest paid nurse, from what I've read, and if you're wondering why I keep talking about nurses, because I know a lot of people that are nurses, is an anesthesiologist nurse. They get paid the highest amount, from what I read. If you have a trade in sort of what I do, I am a facility maintenance technician. So what I do is I repair buildings. But if you have a construction trade, you can make a lot of money. But you have to be free to travel to find all these places. Especially people who are single and some kind of bug attacking me. Especially if you're single and you're trying to make a lot of money. Because I know a lot of you Filipinos, you come here and you make more money than you would in your own country, because your own country doesn't even want to pay your own people very well. And you send money home to your family. Which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking care of family and making sure everybody is doing well. But you can make a lot of money in the United States. Boy, all I'm doing is walking in mud. I'm gonna have to walk through here to avoid some of it. This used to be an old firehouse, and somebody had bought it, and from my understanding, they make those what do you call it? Those beanbag games. That's what I was told. That's what I read in the paper. So, yeah, so here we have a CVS. Here is a cemetery and a college. Millikan University is right over there. In fact, that is a big nursing university. I mean, they have other things. They have, if you know how to play an instrument, you can go there. In fact, the person who sang as Ariel in The Little Mermaid actually graduated from that school. You do have a lot of famous people who went to that school. It is a very expensive school, by the way. Yeah, this is a busy street, and it's very loud at the moment. It's actually not as busy as it used to be, but it's still busy enough. And I'm sorry if this is shaking and I keep pointing down or whatever, but like I said, I don't have a gimbal anymore, and I'm using my telescoping tripod that I use when I film at home. It was either that or hold on to the phone and film, which I didn't want to do. So we do not have any train service here. We have city buses, and we do have the Greyhound buses to travel the country do come here, but you have to go out on to well, I don't know if they actually still go there, but they were going to a hotel on the east side of town. There used to be a bus terminal here, and they had it downtown. And I don't know why Decatur does this, but they keep getting rid of things, because we did used to have the Amtrak train come to Decatur, and somebody complained about that, so they stopped doing that. We did used to have the Greyhound bus come here. I mean, they still do, but I mean, we used to have a station downtown that you had to go to buy your ticket. They left from downtown. They tore that down. This is the new firehouse that was down back there. They built a new one over here because it was very hard for the fire truck to get back into the garage. So they built it over here and gave them enough room to where they can just pull in there and back into their garage. This here is Fairview Plaza, where all this nothing is right now. Used to be Kroger food store, and they shut this one down because they were claiming that there was too many people stealing, which may be so, but it was probably more of a bad management, as most businesses are in this country. That's why I don't work at the pharmaceutical company that I was working at for 8 years, because of bad management and greed. Too many people came in and were greedy and stole off that company. Even the ones who came in to check their books and to make sure that everything was in good standing, even stole off this company, and this company allowed it. And then they tried to sell it to another company, and they put a clause in that contract that if the company they're selling to backs out, then this company that I work for owes them $4 million. So they backed out because they saw something they didn't like, and then this company I work for had to pay them $4 million. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. So the ones running that company didn't know what they were doing, ruined it. The guy that was actually the general manager there when I started, they got rid of him because he didn't want to go big time. We were a small, private little gym, and we were actually making a lot of money. And if you bought stocks, it was at the time it was about $56 a share. When they got rid of him and decided to go big time, they lost all their shares, got kicked out of the stock market, and went downhill from there. When they tried to sell off, they were trying to get whoever bought this place to pay for their old debts, and nobody would bite. So they went bankrupt and everybody lost their jobs. Well, the company that bought them was one of them that put a bid in, and they pretty much got it pennies on the dollar, and sure didn't pay the amount that was asking for it. So in that respects, they were laughing all the way to the bank. Anybody need some Chinese food? This is probably the best Chinese restaurant in town. Like I said, I'm sorry if this is shaking so much. I know I'm going to see it when I re-review this whole thing, but I can't help it. This company here, the steam engine vaping company, went under during COVID. I don't know if they might have moved somewhere else, but they went under during COVID. This cemetery right here, I live on the other side of the cemetery, and but this cemetery right over there somewhere, there's a gravestone of a relative to President Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln did visit Decatur quite often when he was a lawyer and when he was president. And even though that man, I think he was either in his 40s or 50s when they assassinated him. That man looked like he was about 80 years old. So it's kind of odd about how people look of their age during different periods. Because today, like say I'm going on 57, I don't look 57 years old. A lot of people think I'm 42 years old. Do I look 42 years old to you? You eat your pasta. Anyway, yeah, so at the end of this road is MacArthur High School, and that's where me and my wife both went to high school. My sons went there for a little while, and then they had to transfer to another school, which used to be a high school, but then they turned it into a middle school. But for the time being, they had turned it into a high school for a while because they were this high school and another high school. The other high school, they basically tore down to the ground and rebuilt it. They got all brand new things. Well, this high school, they decided since they didn't have as much money, they were just going to remodel it, which I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't tear it down. They did add some buildings to it. They ripped out the ceilings and made it look more industrial. They've tried to make it more kind of college looking to get the kids ready for their next stage of going to college. One of my class reunions, we got to go in there and walk around, and most of us couldn't even recognize the school anymore because they totally changed the inside of it. So where the lunchroom used to be ended up becoming the administrative offices, and then they ended up putting the lunchroom out in the main section. And my son, he works over here in the kitchen, and then just here recently they put a new stadium in for the football field and redid the football field itself. So we'll walk up here and take a look, and I'll show you what I mean of what they did to the football field. But when I grew up around this school, I was more over that way, not to the west of the school. I was more kind of north. And they've already, some business had bought where I lived, and they've done tore my houses down. There's actually a hamburger joint where my house used to sit. But anyway, let's see if I can raise you up enough, but we'll see it. They did keep the same scoreboard. I think they just painted the posts. But as you can see coming up, that's a whole brand new stadium and press box right there. And they actually moved the goalposts in some because they were out further than that. So yeah. Anyway, so there you go. There's the new stadium, and there's the new track and the new field. And but this is where me and my family went to high school. It looked totally different from when we went there. But as you can see, the new field, it's all AstroTurf now. So that end zone used to be way down here. So actually the goalpost was further or closer to the circle part, the turn, than where it is. So they moved them in. It was probably about between that blue line and where it turns is where that goalpost was. So they've kind of made that filled, if I can talk properly, smaller. Yeah, so that's all brand new there. They did not change the visitor stands for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they will in the future. But yeah, that building got knocked down. They put a new concession stand up, restrooms, and new press box seating and all that stuff. Handicap ramp. It's all brand new. But yeah, so there's the school. There's more to it. It goes further down, and so we're going to turn around and head back home. Streets are busy today. I know I've never been there, but I watch a lot of film. All the streets in the Philippines are busy with cars, motorcycles, buses, people, businesses, merchandise, lots and lots of flooded rains. And even though I've never been there, I know more about the Philippines than I probably should. I do have a lot of Filipino friends. I have not had any authentic Filipino food. I did try to make chicken adobo one time, which I don't think I did a very good job of it. But I was the only one that would eat it. My family wouldn't touch it. There's one thing about some Americans, that they are very scared to try something new. I'm down to try it, except if it's fish. If it's fish, leave me alone. I cannot stand the taste of fish. If it's sour, I don't want it. I don't want it either. Every morning is rice, but I make my rice different than you can. But I'm trying to keep this as steady as I can. I'm sure it's shaking a lot. Generally, the stability on these Apple phones are pretty good, because I've seen people record with them just by holding on to the phone, and it looked just fine, but mine probably won't. So I'm going to turn you around so you can see me. So that is Fairview Park. I used to go there a lot when I was a teenager. Ride my bike over there, fish in that pond, participate in any of the summer activities that they had there. And I've never ice skated before, so I think they ended that maybe the early 80s. They ended doing that. Now you have to go to the Civic Center downtown to ice skate in the wintertime. Pretty much after graduations, because the school that I work for, they use that area in the Civic Center to do their graduations. They used to hold a lot of stuff in there. I've seen a concert in there. One time they used to have pro wrestling in there. So Hulk Hogan and all those people that day have been to Decatur and wrestled at our Civic Center, which isn't very big, by the way. And then back in the 80s, when heavy metal was very popular, we had Metallica play there, Rat played there. Shoot, I don't remember all the other groups that played in there. I didn't have the money at the time to buy a ticket. A lot of my friends went to the show, but I would say my first rock concert that I ever went to was to go see a group that's no longer, called Husker Du. And they had a band named Christmas opened up for them. They were really good. But Husker Du was a great band. And then I saw REM there. And well, where I saw Husker Du, I saw REM. And then I saw REM again at their bigger place they hold, where they have their basketball games. And then there's a famous bar that I don't think is there anymore, called Mabel's. And I saw a band called Meat Puppets and Jason the Scorchers, and I can't remember who else. But the band I used to be in, and I quit at that point because I had moved away. They actually got to play there, and I never did. But when I was in another band, I got to play places they didn't get to play, so, which are no longer there. So I played a place in Springfield, Illinois, called The Planet. That was a really good show, and it's no longer there. It's gone. And yeah, it's telling me there's an available network. But anyway, yeah, so I used to be a drummer in a punk rock band, and I don't do that anymore. Actually, now I want to learn how to play bass. So eventually I'll get the money up to buy me one of those and learn how to do that. So I actually kind of want to be in a jazz group. But those were fun times. I'm self-taught on my drums. I wasn't as good as I should have been. I didn't really have a place to practice. And the only time I did have practice is when we had practice for the songs. And that's the only time I had any kind of practice playing drums. And I started back in the 1980s playing drums. I got a couple of big dogs barking at me. This cemetery at night, people used to go in there and try to drive around it with their lights out. And yeah, it gets pretty spooky at night, driving around there and you can't see. It's good to do it on a full moon, so that way there's a little bit of light. Anyway, I'll turn this around. So yeah, like I keep telling people, I live in a valley. So once you start going down this street, we're going to be going downhill. So I'm in a valley, surrounded by trees. In the wintertime, everybody has a hard time getting up this hill. And I've been stuck many times. And couldn't get to work because of it. Of course, when I was in high school, a lot of my the house I live in was somebody I went to school with. She lived here when I knew her in high school. And yes, it's a very quiet neighborhood. I see you. Well, I see you too. I'm going to turn this around. I see you too. Whew, that was a heck of a walk. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I can hear her in there saying Daddy's outside. But that's Fairview Park, and you got to see where I went to high school, and so yeah, I just got tired of sitting in the house the whole time I've been off, and all I did was get online, and I watched a few movies, played PlayStation and Nintendo and all that stuff. So yeah. But anyway, we will see you again next year. And I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a new year coming up, because I plan on having a better year next year than I did this year. It's been the crappiest year of my life. And so I got a lot of plans for next year, and hopefully they come about. But anyway, you all have a wonderful day today. And I have to figure out how to turn this off. I think you have to push the X, because I don't normally go through YouTube to go live. I go through Prism, but my Prism wasn't working for some reason. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you the 2nd of January.